Welcome to this week's episode of Ant on Music. I, of course, am Ant. I'm not going to do too much yapping about subscribing, but please subscribe. If you dig what I do, please hit that subscribe button. As you know, I'm really thrilled to come here week after week and do these videos for you. And, you know, I think I'm pretty enthusiastic most of the time about what I show you. Obviously, it's my record collection. Why wouldn't I be enthused about me sharing what I love with all of you? This week, I'm especially excited because out of nowhere, the music gods have blessed us. We have the return of Rush. Really wasn't expecting this. Can't say that I'm shocked, more surprised, I guess you would say. So Rush is coming back. Alex and Geddy are reuniting, and they're going to go back out on tour. And, you know, going to have a bit of a different lineup, obviously, with the passing of Neil. And we'll talk about that, too. So this week, I'm going to show you my Rush collection for the most part. It's driving me nuts. I couldn't find one of the videos that's unique, which was the Grace Under Pressure Tour one. So I'll show you some videos, some box sets, single releases where they apply. And it's going to be a long video, so, strap in. We're going to have a good time. So Alex and Geddy are reuniting. They have brought on Anika Niles, who was, admittedly unknown to me, and I'm sure unknown to a lot of people, but she does have a decent resume, having worked with Jeff Beck, so she's no slouch on the drum kit. Tell me what you think about that. I'm curious to see what other fans think about, Geddy and Alex reuniting and, them picking someone that's relatively unknown. I'm thrilled at the prospect of them coming back out on tour. Don't know if I really want them producing new music without Neil at the helm as far as lyrics go. But new drummer seems cool. Very thrilled to catch them back on tour. I saw them at their final stop at Madison Square Garden. It was the first time I got to take my son to a show, so that's very memorable for me as well. I'm also happy at the fact that they didn't grab, a big name. They didn't grab like a Mike Portnoy or someone along the line, like one of Neil's good friends like Stuart Copeland or even Marco Miniman or Mike Mangini, who's also from Dream Theater and now has time on his hands because Mike's back in the fold, or Dave Grohl. It's like I'm happy with the fact that they picked someone that's relatively unknown from the point of it's a fresh start. They're not going to come with their own baggage. She's not going to come in with her, with a bigger ego like some of the other players I named. And I'm really happy. I think it's going to be a great start. Apparently they've been rehearsing for a while with her, and there's she's got a good groove with them, and that's that. So what do we got? All right. It's going to be a mishmash. Usually I try and show things in order. Today not, because I've got a big box sets over here. I've got regular releases. I've got bootlegs. I've got videos, a couple of CDs, because not everything in their catalog has been released on vinyl. But we're not going to start with the first one. We're actually going to start with Fly By Night. All right, so Fly By Night, this is the second release, first one with Neil. What's on here: Anthem, Best I Can, Beneath, Between, Behind, By Torn the Snow Dog, Fly By Night, Making Memories, Rivendell, and In the End. I'm doing this video because a couple people have asked me to do a Rush video showing my entire collection, and I figured what a more opportune time than this announcement of the R50 something tour. Now, I am going to skip over the latter stuff, all right, because I've done a full video that shows the R50 box set and the two box sets that came out earlier, showcasing all the stuff up from 2002. Was it? No, actually, even before that, from 89 to 96, and then the end cap there. So we're going to concentrate on the rest of the stuff. So next thing we got here, this is an official bootleg, I guess you would say. It's a Back on Black classic. It's early Rush. I'm not going to show you too much of anything on these, just more to show you everything. Cool live album. We've got Finding My Way, Best I Can, Need Some Love, In the End, Fancy Dancer, In the Mood, Bad Boy. Here again, Working Man, Drum solo from Neil. What You Doing? Garden Road, Anthem, Beneath, Between, and Behind, and Fly By Night. Caress of Steel. This is a nice gatefold edition of it as well. One of the lesser loved Rush albums. Like I said, I want to give my buddy Monty Connor a lot of credit. As he knows, I'm a huge Rush hobbit, as he refers to fans of Rush. And I'm happy to be one. This is one that's really strictly for the hobbits. You got Bastille Day, I Think I'm Going Bald, which was a play off of Kiss's I Think I'm Going Blind, because they happened to tour with Kiss at that point. Lakeside Park, The Necromancer, In the Valley, Didax and Narpets, No One at the Bridge, Panacea, Bacchus Plateau, and The Fountain. So Rush, Caress of Steel, their third entry. And they were pretty much at the point where they thought they were done. And then you had 2112, which was another big album, which we have up there, but we're going to show you the box on that in a bit. This is where my Rush journey began, all right, with All the World's a Stage. Friend of mine introduced me to them, and I said, well, what's a good way for me to get as much music as possible instead of collecting a whole bunch of albums all at once, not having anything. And this is where my journey started. So not a bad place to start, showcasing the first 4 albums that they put out. Bastille Day, Anthem, Fly By Night, In the Mood, Something for Nothing, Lakeside Park, 2112, the whole thing. By Torn the Snow Dog, In the End, Working Man, Finding My Way, and What You Doing. So, had that. This was the first studio album I bought from Rush, and it holds a near and dear place in my heart. Farewell to Kings. I really, really love this album. The cool thing about this is the original Canadian release, and I'm really thrilled to have this in my collection. It's such a fantastic album. Farewell to Kings, Xanadu, Closer to the Heart, Cinderella Man, Madrigal, and Cygnus X1. And as you can see, it's on the original Anthem records right there. Let's change it up a little bit. Let's show you something else that's also from around the same time. It's another bootleg. It's actually the first bootleg that I ever got of Rush. And you'll see I got it for a song. $11. Look at that. And it's live in 74. And you've got Working Man Anthem, Finding My Way, Best I Can, Need Some Love, Fly By Night, In the Mood, By Torn the Snow Dog, and Here Again. So that's a cool one to have in my collection. As you hear me say all the time, I'm not a big picture disc guy. I'm not a big bootleg guy. But I do have a picture disc of Hemispheres, the 40th anniversary version of Hemispheres, which is very cool. Greatest Hits package. Rush has had a ton of them. All right. This was the first one that I got, Rush Through Time, and it covers obviously the early end of Rush with Fly By Night, Making Memories, Bastille Day, Something for Nothing, Cinderella Man, Anthem, Overture, The Temple of the Syrinx, Twilight Zone, Best I Can, Closer to the Heart, and In the End. And this is from Phonogram Records, and it is official release. Not too many people are aware of this one, but it was official. You could tell from the old school labeling here that it was one of those things that just was put out as a stopgap, basically by the band some time to get into the studio and record some more. Let's take a look at one of the box sets that I have. So this is probably when people talk about Rush, this is the album that they all refer to, Moving Pictures. And you have the reimagined artwork from Usan, their longtime collaborator. And this has cool stuff in it. So I'll show you a little bit. Excuse me. Show you a little bit of this as we go through. We've got an R40, I guess, bogus laminate. Got a replica ticket. Got our hype sticker. And then you get into the music here. And this is a massive box set. You get the original album with all the classic tracks: Tom Sawyer, Red Barchetta, YYZ, Limelight, Camera Eye, Witch Hunt, Vital Signs. Everything on this I absolutely love, just like most Rush fans do. Then you get a live in 1981 album, okay, which is very cool. And I believe this is just basic. Yeah, everything in this is basic. Nothing to see here. So we'll just talk about the track listing. You know, typical of the time, this is at Maple Leaf Gardens in March 24 and 25th of 81. You get all of 2112, The Overture, Temple of Syrinx, Free Will, Limelight, Cygnus X1, Book 2, Hemispheres, The Prelude, Beneath, Between, and Behind, Limelight, Cygnus X1, Book 2, Hemispheres, The Prelude, Beneath, Between, the Hind, and the Camera Eye, YYZ, Brunsbane, Trees, Xanadu, and Spirit of Radio. Then we also get more goodies in this, which they really did not cheap out. This is more from the same show with the professor right there. Rest in peace, Neil. We get Red Barchetta, Closer to the Heart, Tom Sawyer, Vital Signs, Natural Science, Working Man, Cygnus X1, The Book, Book 2, Hemispheres, Armageddon, The Battle of Heart and Mind, Bytorn, The Snow Dog, In the End, In the Mood, and 2112, the grand finale. And then for basically the encore, La Via Strangiato. Then we get this bunch of lithos in here and special stuff, which, like I said, for time purposes, I'm only going to show you one piece out of that, and that is this lenticular picture of the original Moving Pictures cover. And there's a ton more in this stuff. It's just because I have so much to get through, I'm not going to kill everybody's time, because at the rate I'm going, this video is going to be like an hour long. And I know from having been on YouTube for a couple of years, the longer you make these things, the less people end up watching. Then we get this gorgeous book with everything on disc, which is fantastic. And also updated artwork that goes along with the project itself. I really do hope, even though Neil has passed, that they continue to work on putting some of these bigger box sets back out. You know, the last one was the R50, and you know, Neil was really the guy that did all this stuff. So you know, I certainly hope that they make a point of continuing that on as well. In here, we get the other cool stuff, which is this. And I'm going to try and hold this up without having anything drop. What we get here is we get, let's see if we can gently do this. So we get a Rush badge along with two basically steel guitar picks, one for Neil and one for Geddy, and a set of the Professor's drumsticks. And then the big thing with this was this little replica Red Barchetta. So you get that. The windshields fold up. It's pretty cool. So you have that as well, you know. So that is the Moving Pictures box set. Another thing, you know, like I said, Rush was big into video. Let's go to the last thing, which was the R40 tour. All right, and I have this in a couple of different configurations. Hasn't been released on vinyl yet. I'm hoping that as they do these box sets, maybe they'll do one of the live albums. That would be pretty cool. Probably be pretty massive though, especially if they do it on vinyl. And this has the complete concert on there on disc, which is great. I believe this is the Blu-ray of it. Is it? Yeah, Blu-ray disc on this one. So you know, and that's got a, you know, it's got the R40 track listing. So you get that as well. And it's great to see the band really enjoying themselves as they, you know, put a close to their career. Another live thing we'll show you as well, because this is going to get out of control with all this stuff. So we're going to put this over here. Put that back there for now. All right, let's do live. Here's another live bootleg from that time period. And it's typical of the time. This is from St. Louis on Valentine's Day in 80, 2112, Spirit of Radio, Bytor, Xanadu, Natural Science, Beneath, Between, Behind, Working Man Anthem, Bastille Day, In the Mood. And this is one of those radio recordings. It's actually pretty good. I was shocked, you know, when I got it. Like I said, not a big bootleg guy. And there's nothing to see as far as the vinyl is concerned. So we'll just put that aside. So I'll show you the front and back of that. It's pretty cool. Then, more live. they're, you know, and I think that's the coolest thing. We're talking about them getting back together live and enjoying their company and making music, and the fans are going to dig it. I know I am. Just show you the back cover there. You can, if you want to see what's on this one, just freeze it. You can take a look at the track listing. This is the Snakes and Arrows live tour. Sporting my t-shirt of that. And this was the official live from the Moving Pictures tour. Get the gatefold. You know, track listing is pretty much what the track listing's been on everything else I've told you, so why would that be different? Then we had a big change of pace after that, and that was when Signals came out, right? That was one of the big monumental changes in the catalog of Rush, was that they released Signals, and that was pretty impressive. They got away from the hard rock and they moved on to a more like almost new wave type stuff. And you heard bits and pieces of that and things along the lines of not Hemispheres. What am I thinking of? Album After Hemispheres. No, I have the big version of it here. My brain is just farting all over the place today. Permanent Waves. You heard little bits and pieces of it in there. But here there was really, they embraced it full on. And instead of looking at this, this is the OG copy from back then. We have this version right here, which is the anniversary box set. A lot of cool stuff in here. If you notice the paw prints on the back from the puppy. And we'll do this one quickly. We'll just show you what's whole and entire on here, because like I said, just too much stuff to go through in the entire box itself, just for time purposes. So this is everything contained therein. Very cool. You get some additional lithographs from Hugh Syme. You get bonus video, Half-Speed direct metal mastering vinyl. Very neat CDs, you know, with all the great tracks on there, like Digital Man, Analog Kid, which is one of my favorites. Anything that has to do with baseball, I'm all about. Another great box set from Rush. Stack that one up here. So look at the back of my balding head. And we'll do the, let's go to the next one. This is where I saw the first time I got to see Rush on tour. All right. First time I got to see Rush on tour was on Power Windows with Marillion opening, and made me a lifelong fan of Marillion as well. And this sticks with me for you know, many reasons. It being the first time I got to see Marillion, but first time I got to see Rush live, and I was completely blown away. Big production, excellent set list, you know, big money, grand designs, Manhattan Project, Marathon, Territories, Middletown Dreams, Emotion Detector, and Mystic Rhythms. This is my OG copy of that. I'm hoping this comes out as a, you know, massive box set as well. Back to the beginning, another box. Now, I never owned the original Rush album, all right? When this came out, I decided, all right, I have to complete my collection to some degree, at least have this. This is pretty bare bones. You do get a couple of little goodies in here. You get some postcards, I guess you could say, of the boys in the band, you know, with Ged, Alex, and the late, great John Rutsey. And also you have the Rush family tree here, and you get the album, and you get this poster as well. So just show you that promo poster for the album itself. So you have that for the original Rush album that was there. Just gonna keep piling these up. They're just gonna take over everything. So next, another live one. All right, show of hands, great set list. Got to see this tour too. You know, show you the back of it just because. Try and show you that. A little bit of glare there, but you get the idea. Show of hands. Love the band at all stages of their time, and show you another live one too, because I have all these lovely Rush box sets that exist. So get that as well. Keep them coming. And the Time Machine Tour. I'll open this up a little bit. Give you a look-see. I think one of the coolest things is experience music live, especially when you get guys that are talented as Neil, Geddy, and Alex are. I don't know if I've shown this before, but I'll bring this out as well. I think I may have shown this in an earlier video, but I'm not sure. This is the compendium of the Rush tour books. So up to a point, it doesn't have all of them, but it has a good majority of them. And Neil was the main paper guy in the band. He was the one that did most of these tour books for the band, showing, you know, exactly where they were in that time frame and developing those to be put out for us to purchase as fans of the band. Another live one we've got here. All right, Rush and Rio also have this on video. Don't believe I put it out here, but you know, we do have the Clockwork Angels one. And if you haven't seen this, you got to check this out. Beyond the Lighted Stage, the story of Rush. Rush and Rio was great. The fans in Brazil, absolutely insane. This is great on album. It's even better on video. And you get to see the fans go absolutely freaking bonkers for them. It's insane. It's phenomenal. It's like beyond anything you could imagine. The remix version of Vapor Trails. This was the comeback after Neil had lost his wife and daughter. And, you know, it's bare bones as far as what's in there. But you have One Little Victory, Ceiling Unlimited, Ghost Rider, which is, you know, basically about Neil himself. Peaceable Kingdom, which I love, Stars Look Down, How It Is, and Vapor Trail. Secret Touch, Earthshine, which Secret Touch is kind of like almost their version of a ballad. Sweet Miracle, Nocturne, Freeze, which is part 4 of Fear, and Out of the Cradle. So that's the 2013 version. Here's something else. Moving Picture seems to weigh heavily in the Rush catalog. And this was something that I got. This is an official release from the band, and it's the entirety of Moving Pictures live. And what this came out with when they put out Clockwork Angels, this came out oddly enough with it, and it's got the full album on there, which is great. All of Moving Pictures, that's it, just that live. From 2011, I believe, right? Yeah, 2011. Grace Under Pressure. Now, I have the live DVD of this somewhere, and I couldn't find it, but I have a ton of DVDs, so I know it's not lost. It's just among the many. You have that. One of the oddities of Rush Live that hasn't been released as of yet, with the exception of a bootleg, which I haven't picked up, is Different Stages Live. And this is, you know, Latter Day Rush. It's got Dreamline, Limelight, Driven, Bravado, Animate, Show Don't Tell, The Trees, Nobody's Hero, Closer to the Heart, 2112, and that's just the first disc. Test for Echo, which that was a great tour, got to see them then. Analog Kid, Free Will, Roll the Bones, Stick It Out, Resist, Leave That Thing Alone, The Rhythm Method, which is a drum solo, Natural Science, Spirit of Radio, Tom Sawyer, YYZ. Then you get Bastille Day, By Tor and the Snow Dog, Xanadu, Farewell to Cain, Something for Nothing, Cygnus X1, Anthem, Working Man, Fly By Night, In the Mood, and Cinderella Man. I'm hoping they do an official release on this one. I'd really love to have this on an official vinyl release. Haven't managed to even locate for a decent price the bootleg. And they were always big as far as their retrospectives goes. This one is great. Chronicles, you know, goes all the way up through Show Don't Tell. So, you know, good one to pick up. You know, 2-disc set, not a bad bargain. And then they had the retrospectives 1, 2, and 3. This one's number 3. And then we have this one as well, which is Spirit of Radio. Another greatest hits compilation. Boy. Then we have this, which is the DVD of the Live in Cleveland set for the Time Machine tour. Here's a funky little thing. So this is the Rush Time Stand Still video, all right? And the cool little thing about this is you get a Gumby keychain. And Gumby is wearing a Rush shirt. So how cool is that to have in your collection? A little bit of Gumby Dammit. And the Blu-ray of Rush Live. Also, Working Men Greatest Hits DVD of the band, all their videos, which is really cool. R30 on DVD, or is this Blu-ray DVD, I believe? Which is it? Yeah, it's DVD. So, you know, 30th anniversary tour. Very cool. Get everything live right there. Very neat. 2 really long DVDs full of stuff, including interviews with the band and stuff from their vault, older stuff, which was really cool to have. So now let's do a couple more box sets, and we'll call this video a day. All right. So get this one. This one's great with more reimagined artwork from Hussan. Just take a quick look at this. So, for the 40th anniversary, we get all sorts of goodies in here. We get Rush Permanent Waves World Tour 1980. Very, very cool. Great set list. Previous unreleased bonus live content with a couple of exceptions. You get Beneath, Between, and Behind, By Turn the Snow Dog, and Xanadu. Spirit of Radio, Natural Science. Those are all first times for this catalog. And then we have Passage Bangkok's first time, well, that's a re-release. Then you get The Trees, Cygnus X1, Books 1 and 2, Closer to the Heart, Jacob's Ladder, and Free Will, which are all first time in this collection. And then you get the original album. And if you're a Rushophile, all right, you'll realize that you have down here in the corner on the newspaper, it says Dewey beats Truman, which obviously was fake news. And there we go. Dewey defeats Truman. They made it the highlight on the book. And the book is neat because we have something flying out, which is the hype sticker. So we'll show you that. Show it to your right side up. Tells you everything that's in the box set. And we have the opening line of Spirit of Radio right there. Obviously, the retrospective cover that I showed you before. Ged with a double Rick. Pretty freaking impressive. And I really do love the updated artwork that Hussan put together for these collections. So the Dewey beats Truman thing is a big thing for me because Dewey was a local politician from where I live now. Didn't make hill of beans to me then, but now that I live where Dewey was, it makes some stupid-ass point of pride, I guess. But you get all that in this box, which is really neat. And we've got a couple more boxes to go. We also get this in here. Let's pull this out as well. Tour laminate of Ged. And once again, one of these great, big, thick boxes of goodies that Rush is so good at putting together for their collections. So let's try and get this out of the way a little bit. Let's show this to you. Just give you just a quick idea of what's in here. We get a Le Studio notepad from Morin Heights, a replica of that, and tour passes for the Professor and Lurks, along with Ged. Lyrics for the songs, which is pretty cool. You get all of them in there. Not going to show you all of them. The Words and Pictures of Rush, Volume 2. So pretty cool to see some old school photos of the band from back in the day. Let's see what else we got in here to show you. And we've got the World Tour book, which is also part of the big tour book that I showed you before. So you get another replica of that, which is neat. I love that stuff because I was too young to go to those tours. I was 12. I wasn't going out. And then you get this awesome poster of the band, which is two-sided. So let's not try and damage this. On one side, you get the boys in the studio. Great picture of each of them, especially Neil down there at the bottom. And then Alex up top. And our cover model from Permanent Waves, the original artwork. So very cool box set from there. Got a couple more things to show you. Hey, you guys asked for a complete Rush video, and I'm trying to hammer it in as quick as I can and show you as much as I can without killing your whole day, so stick with me. And if you want to see the rest of the stuff, go back and watch the other videos. There's a good amount of stuff there. Like I said, on the latter stuff, in those two boxes that I show where I go through each of the albums. And, you know, always could use more likes on those videos. Why not? So go check those out. But we still got Hemispheres to look at, and I believe 2112. So I'll show you those in a moment. The one thing about doing these videos for you guys is that when I do them, gathering all this stuff is a pain in the ass. Picking through my collection, gathering it all. Even worse is putting it away. Now, I get all psyched up to do these videos, and then I get the mental energy to do them, and then I go to put them away, and it's like total deflation. It's like, oh shoot, I gotta put all this crap away. And then it sits on my desk, usually here for about a week until I do the next video. Stupid, I know. Pretty shocked my voice is hanging out as well as it is because I'm doing a lot of yapping. Hemispheres box, reimagined artwork, all the stuff that's in there. I know there's a bit of a glare in here. I apologize. So let's take a look here. Love Hemispheres. This is about as intricate and knotty as it got from the boys in the band. Get this great book, you know, with the reimagined artwork on there. The logo from that point in time. From the tour. The discs are enclosed of all the music contained therein. Once again, we get our goodie basket here, which has our look into the brain. Take a look at our Hemispheres. And in here, we get a little Rush patch. Still working on that Rush jacket I started doing months ago. I gotta get it done. Stickers. You notice I don't use any of this stuff on purpose. Try and keep everything as intact as possible. And we've got here the words and pictures of Rush. This is obviously volume 1. Great picture of the band early in the career. Show you the back of that one. Let's pick another one out of the middle here just to show you. So yeah, this is one of those classic pictures of Neil that's been seen a million times before. So just great. The professor at work. And of course, another poster. This one is single-sided. The reimagined artwork, very cool. That's everything in here aside from the obvious album. And we'll show you that momentarily as we put this away. Get all these goodies packed away nicely and neatly and keep them safe and secure for years to come. That's what happens when you've become a collector and you realize that, you know, you love this stuff. So, here we go. Hemispheres. And this is from the Pink Pop Festival. That's right. That's why we got that little sticker in there. Logo once again. Reimagined artwork on the back with the track listing. I'm not gonna go through all of that. Went through enough of that. Then we have the album as well. Tracks on the back. I believe this is, you know, just plain bare bones as it is, and I believe this one is too. Yeah, everything's white, you know, white inlays on that, so nothing spectacular to see there. But you know, this is one of my favorites from their catalog. I really do love this time period of the band, as most people do. You know, the die-hard Rush fans from a million years ago, like myself, love all that intricate crap that you know, you obsess over as a kid. And the music, it surprisingly has held up well. Like a lot of prog stuff ends up sounding dated to a lot of people, but Rush somehow manages to always stay relevant, I guess is the best way to say it. So I'm going to try and get this to squeeze back in. And then we'll show you the last thing I have of all these monstrous box sets and all that. And we'll call it a day. You know, so just pretty surprising the amount of stuff that I've shown you guys today. And the fact that this video isn't like 2 hours long. And I think a good portion of it's because I'm skipping over all the latter day stuff. So another box set to put up here on the wall, as you mind the back of my head. Last but not least, 2112. This was the one that saved the band, and I guess it's a kind of a fitting place to end off. They were on their Down the Tubes tour. They thought they were done. Then they they released 2112. This is the 40th anniversary edition, as we are in the soon-to-be 50-something era of Rush. And this is the live portion of the album, and you've got all of 2112. Then you get Passage to Bangkok, Twilight Zone, Lessons, Tears, Something for Nothing, Solar Federation Overture. That's with Dave Grohl, Taylor Hawkins, and Nick Raskulinecz. Passage to Bangkok, which is Billy Talent. This was the stuff that's covers. Then you've got Twilight Zone by Steven Wilson. Speaking of Steven Wilson, yes, we're speaking of Steven Wilson. Got to see Steven Wilson last week at the Capitol Theater. He was under the weather. Randy McStein had to do the last two songs vocally. They leaned heavily on instrumental stuff, which in a way was great because I got to hear Voyage 34. And the show was fantastic. Both Steven and Craig Blundell were down for the count. They were pretty sick, but they pulled out a phenomenal show. If you've never seen Steven Wilson live, go. Back to this, we get Tears from Alice in Chains with Will Duvall on vocals, Something for Nothing by Jacob Moon. Jacob Moon's a great Canadian player. He's done some numerous covers of Rush. I got to see him live opening for Marillion up in Canada, and he's a phenomenal player. If you've never heard of Jacob Moon, check him out as well. His version of Subdivisions is phenomenal. Then live at Macy Hall, the 2112 tour, the whole of 2112, and then Something for Nothing, Twilight Zone, and you get a radio ad for 2112. And with this, there are some art pieces in here worth showing. Very young Lurkst, Pratt, and Ged. So you get that. And there's other stuff in here as well, I believe. The 2 albums. Yeah, we get this as well. I knew there was something in here. Get our Starman slip mat. There's a couple more goodies in here to show you. Put this all away. The more I clean up now, the less I got to do a week from now when I go to produce another video for you guys. So we got the liner notes. They separated those out to have them whole and entire, easier to read for us people that are getting old and blind. We get this little tour flyer here. Story of 2112, credits, prior albums. This was the back panel of the box with everything that's contained therein. A couple more of Hugh's artist renderings right there. And then we get everything on disc. They haven't really, I'll show you this in a second. So we get everything on disc right here, which is good. Always nice to have it in multiple formats. Obviously, they had the fan blowing in the studio for that picture. And we get these badges. They put in a nice foam backing so everything stays safe and secure, and you get the guys in the band right there. So that is everything that I'm going to show you this week in my Rush collection. Like I said, almost 40 minutes of video, that's enough. So if you dig what I do, please, please, please drop a comment, drop a like. Tell me what you like, what you don't like. I love the spirited debate, kind of like the one we had last week about the Genesis box set. It's always good to talk, talk it out. It's the best way to handle things. I'm sure I'll be back. this was kind of like perfect timing because there really wasn't much that came out this week for me to show you. The announcement that Rush going back on tour is always welcome, and this kind of just fit the need. So, drop a comment, give it a thumbs up, share it across other platforms. If you have a friend that might dig this, or is a Rush fan, or just likes music in general, you know, do me the favor, share the video. Go and check out the other Rush videos that are on here. I believe there are at least 3, one for each of the box sets that were up right at the start of the video, the R50, and then the 2 box sets covering the latter albums from Rush. So thank you so much for checking out the channel. Hope you stuck around as long as you could. Appreciate your time. Appreciate you checking it out. And I will see you next time. And until that time, peace, one love, music. I'm out.